The only reason I wanted to get together, I was kind of talking about it before, and forgive me if I got a little bit of disheveled. I just did like 3 hours of advising, so I might be a little scatterbrained. But I just wanted to make sure everyone kind of was on the same page as to what some of the educational stuff that we do within the department or within the School of Education is. Because 200 is a pretty good jump. You're getting close to that jumping off point for Juncture 1. And I know it sounds like a lot of you have already talked about it before with your advisor, which that's the best route. But just in case, I just wanted to go over and make sure you're keeping an eye out on the classes that you need to be taking during registration. This is the form that you'll see with Juncture 1. I'm taking this for granted. Does everyone understand what Juncture 1 is? If you don't, just speak up and we will not judge. Hey, good deal. Juncture 1 is something that you have to move on within the program. And actually, Tanner, you were actually making some good points there. A few things that you have to do to get to move on with Juncture. You have to have your praxis core completed or have tested high enough on your SAT or ACT scores not to have to take the praxis core. The praxis core is your English, your writing. Well, actually, let me just pull it up for you. It's your, I thought I had it on there. Must not have pulled it up there. Hold on. Do I have it? Yep. It's your reading, writing, and math. And as you can see, there are your scores. I will tell you this. There's no way getting around it. It does cost money. And unfortunately, if you don't get the score that you need in one of the parts, you have to retake that part. The part I think you all probably all know that gets most people, if any part gets anyone, is usually math. Usually. There are some test waivers and all if cost becomes a factor. I'm going to share all that stuff on Sakai. I'll probably have it up today or tomorrow. But you do need to make sure you have this completed before you apply for Juncture. You also, another thing, make sure you keep your GPA up. You got to maintain a 275. I don't think that'll be a problem because I think most people in here are Tanner's English, Claire's English. Jessica, what are you? I'm sorry.
What am I?
What's your content? Are you elementary? Are you?
Yeah, elementary.
Okay, elementary. Sorry, what are you? You're a student. Alexis, and are you also elementary?
Yes.
Okay, I thought you were. So, and then Elizabeth, I know you're social studies. Most people don't have a problem with that because they're in their content area or focus, but still keep that 275. Here's the other thing, and I just wanted to get together to make sure you're keeping an eye on this and to check with your advisors just in case. To apply for Juncture, you have to have that core set of classes. It's your 150, it's your 200, which you're in now, which if you had 150, if you're in 200, you've had 150 or taking 150. You got to have your 320. You got to have English 101, 102, and you got to have COM 202. Those are the core sets that you really have to have. I would also go ahead and have your math knocked out, but I mean, that's the set that you have to move on in Juncture. You will probably, actually, she is awesome, but you will probably start to hear a name, Miss Swisher, a lot. I don't know if you all have received anything from her already. Miss Swisher actually will notify you usually when you're pretty close to Juncture or if you need to apply. So if you ever see an email from Miss Swisher, make sure you open it. She is not like me, where she will not carpet bomb you with messages. She actually, when she sends it out, you will know you need to check it. Also, I know sometimes I don't think this is a problem, but just in case, make sure that, if there's any type of felony or all on your records, you might have to get some clarification on that. It does happen once in a while. I mean, stuff happens. So, hopefully won't have to avoid that. Sorry, here comes Hannah. That's the Juncture. And there's the test scores you need for your ACT or SAT. But again, that's something once you take 320, it sounds like, Tanner, you said you're not taking 320.
No, I'm taking 360.
Okay.
So I'm going to take COM 202 and 360.
Okay.
So that I'll get COM done and then I can take 320 next semester.
Can I ask, is anyone else not taking 320 next semester? Okay. Claire's not. Okay. And it sounds like the others are. The only reason I ask is there is a little more field component usually with 320. It's a 4-credit class. So, but it's mapped out, and there's no, there's no hard and fast rules when you have to apply, but you just have to meet those guidelines. I'm also going to send, in case you're interested, the praxis information. This is the general type stuff and the scores that you have to have. If you need help with anything related to praxis, we do have study guides. And also another name you might want to keep in mind is Mr. McPherson. He actually teaches the 400 class in Shepherd or in our Edge department. The main reason I say that is sometimes he has some materials or even does tutoring. I don't think he's done any this semester because of the craziness of everything, but usually they use the study center and do some tutoring and all if you need it for praxis. Feel free to ask me too. I think I loaned out some of my praxis materials already, but most of us have some sort of praxis thing. And again, there is something called Math Made Easy. This is apparently one that a lot of people have been telling us, the praxis math. It does help. I think most of you will rock the praxis math, only because it's not far down the road math, if that makes any sense. It's just one of those things that I think math just plays in people's heads sometimes. That's praxis, that's juncture. I'm going to mention this other name. You do not need to worry about it now, but I feel like you all I feel like as a school, we need to start kind of planting the seed a little earlier so people aren't caught off guard. If you have time in your busy schedules, you may want to start just kind of exploring something called Edtpa. Have you all heard of Edtpa yet? You may have heard it cursed if you've talked to any ed major. The reason why I say that, I'm going to pull it up here. Sorry, I didn't have a chance before advising. Edtpa is, whoops, of course I didn't spell it right. Edtpa is actually, that's your capstone when you're going to go at the end of student teaching. And I know you're probably thinking, well, I haven't even gotten through juncture 1 yet. Student teaching comes up when you fast. And one thing that I've kind of noticed with Edtpa, a lot of people have said they've never even heard about it by the time they get to student teaching, but it's your capstone. It's literally how we assess how your teaching is going. When you're out in the field, you're actually going to submit lesson plans. You're going to film yourself teaching. You're going to have assessments, and you're scored on I'm broad stroking, depending on your discipline, you could be scored on multiple different parts, but there's basically 3 cores. I guess they're kind of the holy trinity of education if you think about it. You're scored on assessment, you're scored on instruction, and you're scored on planning. And a lot of that you're going to get in your ed classes after you get through juncture 1. The only thing is I would really make sure that you at least kind of keep Edtpa in the back of your mind that it's coming down the road. And if you go to their site, there are handbooks for each discipline. I will say this, elementary, I think, rocks Edtpa. I think they're starting to really get a good base for Edtpa type stuff, so that's good. Dr. Hargrove she's always got her ducks in a row, so to speak. You do have a certain score. I'm not going to say any scores other than social studies because they are different depending on the discipline. Like my social studies students have to score a 35 on Edtpa. But what it will do, let me see if I can pull one up. If you type in, it's very easy to find. Like if I typed in Edtpa, we have English majors, so English handbook. There's a handbook for Edtpa, and it will tell you a little bit about some of the stuff that you have to do for this. Again, this isn't something you have to worry. I'd really start to think about it once you get into your methods classes a little bit. And then when you get into 443, but you really need to get in the habit of writing good lesson plans and thinking about how you're assessing students and things like that. And again, you can take and check out the assessment, but I know that's a very broad overview, but I just wanted to mention it because just keep it in the back of your mind. Actually, if you want, when I'm loading up everything, I'll put the handbooks up for English, since you all took the time to come here. English, elementary, social studies, and do I have anything else? Oh, Hannah's here, physical education. And you will have to film yourself, which actually you all might be well versed in by the time this pandemic's over anyway. So that's kind of it. I just wanted to touch base, but also I wanted to make sure you all had an opportunity to ask any questions if you had any related to juncture, praxis, or even if you want to ask something about Edtpa. I just wanted to name drop that. Just always keep that in the back of your mind. Because as you get farther along, you're going to definitely hear some cursing about Edtpa. So, any questions?
With the praxis,
Mhm.
so I'm taking mine in December, but like if you would fail a component, when do you have to take it again by? Somebody told me by midterms of the next semester.
Usually, you're saying if you take it in December and you want to apply, it depends. Some of it depends how many spots are open related to 370, which is the class you're trying to get into after juncture, basically.
Mhm.
You really could, as long as you get your score up before the next semester, I think you're all right. Now, with
Okay.
that being said, the earlier is always better in case
Mhm.
spaces run out of classes. But like, for example, I think there's still some space they project in 370 for the spring. So the students who haven't passed it yet that are trying to get in before then still have a little bit of time to do it. The only thing
Okay.
that stinks, and don't quote me word for word on this, but I think you have to wait 35 days right now if you don't get the score that you need
Yeah, I
before
think
you
so
can
too.
take it again. It's 35, I think, isn't it?
Mhm.
Um,
I think
it,
so.
yeah, it's one of those things. And plus, if you take it all at once, you can do it. It's obviously the cost. There's
Mhm.
just a little bit of pressure on it. But you're registered, you said, to take it in December.
Yeah, I'm registered. I'm taking it in December. I'm doing all three.
There's, I'm going to say this, and I think there's definitely people who disagree with me on this. I'm kind of one of those people where I think you can kind of psych yourself out with it a little bit. So I
Mhm.
think if you think you're I think most of you could take it and do
Yeah.
fine on it. Uh, there might be some math that you might need to refresh on or
Mhm.
something like that, but it's just one of those things. And if you don't get the score you need, this is all about teaching and terminology. I try not to think about it as a pass fail type thing. Each
Mhm.
state has different scores that are required. So you might meet the standards. You might not meet the standards for West Virginia, but they would meet the standards in Arkansas. I'm just throwing that out
Mhm.
as an example.
Yeah.
So it's not really a pass fail type thing. It's just you got to get a certain score for West Virginia.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
one of those things. But and again, you can take it. Well, right now I think you can do it. Are you doing it at home or? I think they're
I'm
actually
gonna
letting
do
you.
it at a test center.
Yeah, I was gonna say that they were doing the home, but I think you can go to the tech center now. Actually, I think
Yeah,
Blue Ridge actually lets you take it there.
so Blue Ridge didn't have like the only time they had was too soon for me. So I
Uh-huh.
have to take it in Hagerstown, but that's not too far away.
No, is that over at the community college?
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
usually have it. I was gonna say, but that's it. I just wanted to make sure, since we're not meeting face to face, that everyone's kind of been keeping this in the back of their minds. But is there any other questions, or are there any questions?
Um,
Go ahead.
how do you sign up for the praxis?
That's actually not a bad question. There is a site that you should be able to just go to. I think I accidentally closed it out, like a Einstein for some reason. That wasn't smart. Here, I'll show you. Praxis sign up. You just type in and it should let you register. You should just go right to the site and you can do it. I actually have those instructions too, and I'll send them out. Let me write that down. Instructions. But it's usually not too hard. Did you have any problems registering, Tanner?
No, you just make an account and then it goes through all the test dates where you can take it and places where you
That's what I
can
was going to say.
take it.
Usually it has a choice of where you can do it. One thing about the Panhandle, I would look at Maryland if you don't
Mhm.
see anything in West, because Blue Ridge I think is the only one around here, unless you're going to go to
Yeah.
Morgantown. But Maryland usually has some spots. Virginia usually has some spots. And actually, if you click here, there are the state requirements. So let's just see what West Virginia's got going on. And if you click my requirements, you can see what all of them are. So I will tell the elementary that this is down the road, and Dr. Hargrove is a much better expert on this. Elementary has a few more praxis 2. You'll start to hear a term praxis 2 after you pass praxis 1. That's your content area. And that's where I was kind of babbling a little bit earlier. Usually and especially in the secondary education fields, I think people, Shepherd does I'm going to toot Shepherd's horn a little bit here. Shepherd does an awesome job, I think, in the content areas, like in the English and in the history and the political science departments. That's that type of stuff. And usually everyone's pretty prepared. Elementary, you all usually have a lot of tests you have to take. There's, as you can see, there's a math version, there's a reading, there's different ones. So I don't want to comment too much on that, but you always want to check with Dr. Hargrove on that one, or whoever your advisor is. I don't know. Alexis, who's your advisor?
Miss Burke.
Okay, so she'll know. She's been here almost she might be the most tenured now. And then Jessica, who's your advisor?
Miss Baker.
Okay, and she'll definitely know because she's the student teacher coordinator, so you'll be good. But yeah, just make sure once you pass Praxis 1, start thinking about Praxis 2. You don't have to take it immediately. English, I have a feeling you all will rock it because they will prepare you like a champ. But as you can see, I know the social studies test that you have to take. Let's see what you have to take for English. There it is. It looks like you have to score a 167. So, and then that's the test you'll take, 5038. And there's actually, if you click on these for all the tests, there's usually a study guide, a plan things that you have to know.
And they have like a little booklet too.
Yep.
And then they also offer, like, for the one that I'm taking now, if you're going to take it, they tell you to do Khan Academy, which is free.
Yeah, actually, also, and I'll be the first to admit, I did this. I was someone who used to write out notes and all before I took my test. We used to have to do something called PLT, which was Principles of Learning and Teaching. That was before Edtpa. There's usually guidebooks. If you go to Books A Million, back towards like where if you're in Martinsburg, if everyone's familiar with that area, if you go back towards like the bathroom, not in the bathroom, but right back by there, there's a bunch of study guides there. There's always Praxis study guides there. I see them all the time. But I can't foresee any of you with the core. If you don't get it the first time, don't get discouraged. Usually the second time you nail it because you kind of get an idea what the test is. But and actually, I can tell you, Elizabeth, since you're on there, I know social studies, I believe you need to score 148. Yeah. So, and there's again, a plan and everything on there. And then a physical education. I have to admit, I think that's the one you take, Hannah. Hannah, are you being certified elementary through adult, or are you doing 5 through adult? Do you know? I think it's all of it too. And I don't want to misspeak on what they require. This might be the test, I'm assuming, and it says that's the test, but always check with your advisor on that. But that's it. There's the juncture form. If you haven't seen that, I'll post it up. Again, you just have to have this stuff done. And I just felt better saying something to you because I think, sometimes things just get a little lost. But any other questions? Hey, no? All right. Everyone's surviving. You only got about a month left, I think, right? A little over a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, So, Claire, you ready for that presentation? Yes, she's giving a head nod.
Tanner has the same presentation.
Oh, Tanner, you ready for your presentation?
Yeah, I might do mine before Clara, but I am ready. I'm doing a Jeopardy board, so.
What are you teaching on? Claire taught me that I don't know my apostrophes very well.
Well, I have to do quotations, so if you don't know how to quote stuff, just ask me and I do know.
Actually, I just misquoted something I had to write a lesson plan for a paper I'm trying to do, and I misquoted a couple of things last night that my wife caught. So it's all important stuff. So
yeah.
Hey, I'm not going to hold you all up. If you do have questions, feel free to email me. If you can't get a hold of your advisor, I, for some reason, seem to be on my email a lot. I keep it open, so fire me an email. I do try to get back as soon as I can, unless I'm out in my son's cross country or sneaking out on the golf course. These are probably the only 2 times I don't have it on. So actually, I don't sneak. I just go out and dominate. But that's neither here nor there. So anyway, I will let you all go. I will post all this up. And again, if you have any questions, fire me an email or we can Zoom. And it'll be all good. And also, thank you, because if my hair looks a mess, it's probably because when I'm advising, I'm doing this with a lot of people. So anyway. So, all righty, I'll let you all go. Have a great day.